Let me see if this works. Hold on. Let's see if this works. This is a test. This is a test. This is a test. This is a test. Your favorite low budget stock talk host on YouTube. Let me make sure this is working. This is working. Are we working? Are we live? Are we live, man? Is it holding the connection? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, the whole world seems to be falling apart, and I love every moment of it. I'm loving it so much. Finally, we have something to discuss. Yes. I mean, come on. I know some of y'all were getting tired of 2% every day, every other day. Come on, man. We got some drama now. Is this working? Okay, we are live and holding well. Good. Good. Yes, indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Sal back in the building. Coming to you on the ones and twos. Yeah, OTC has been dry as hell. But we need the market to come down. Let me go ahead and turn the music off. Shout out to everybody in the chat room right now. Shout out to everybody in the chat room right now. Yes, indeed. I am happy to be back. Looks like it's holding well. It's holding well. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a minute since I've done this. I'm glad to be on and with you, ladies and gentlemen. And as you already know, the market is down well over 1,000 points in the last couple days. Ladies and gentlemen, our wonderful Federal Reserve has decided to raise interest rates again. We all know that the market has been incredibly hot. We know that as incomes rise, inflation becomes a concern. And they raise interest rates in hopes of slowing the economy down, right? And many people believe that the rise in interest rates could be the cause of what we're seeing here, ladies and gentlemen, across these last couple days. All right. Yeah, that. What's going on, Jeff? Shout out to everybody in the chat room. Ken, what's up? We're going to talk about ears. Shout out to ears. Ears up right now because their drug AN111, which is basically a drug to help, they say cure hearing, is now getting prepared for a Type C meeting with the FDA. I forgot what the Type C stands for. You're going to have to look it up. But huge move on ears. Huge move on ears. What's going on, Juan Diaz, Candace Ann Thompson? Who else is in here? Adam, shout out to Adam. Patrice Jameson, hello. Javier, what's up, Felix? Oh, goddamn, all the same people. Shout out to all of y'all, man. Shout out. Joel Kraft, what's up? JT the Bullhead Trader. A Ranger. Kenny Dutton, shout out to everybody, man. Shout out to all the legacy people. I'm seeing some legacy people in here. SSE Trader, what's up, man? Dejan Jackson, what's going on, bro? Ben Ewan, I remember you. SC Trucker, what's going on, man? Rel, got out of ears for a small profit. Shout out. Okay. So, yes, ladies and gentlemen, I got some tickers, but I want to hear what you have to trade. I've been real disappointed with OTC. I was trying to look for some OTC tickers to bring to you. But, God, there's not one that's really like, one I can really get excited about, man. I will tell you, MGTI, you guys remember the guy behind the McAfee antivirus system, started the MGTI when Bitcoin was really big. This used to be a stock that traded $30 to $50 million a day. It now trades barely 100,000 shares. It's below 10 cents a share. I mean, this was a $4 thing, right? No, yeah, it got up there. It got up to like $8. And we're talking just December. All right, we're talking 10 months ago. This was a $9, damn near $9 stock, and now we're sitting at 10 cents. This stock right here, this company announced a month ago that they only had $226 in cash. $226 in cash. I couldn't believe it. And they should be announcing bankruptcy here anytime. So this is going to be a MGTIQ stock, and I'm telling you, it's probably going to run because of that. Just for those of you guys who know how ATC or OTC works, it's probably going to run because of that. But time will tell. Time will tell. But let's not be surprised if we see this sucker go to 4 and then bounce to 8 or some crazy thing like that. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. You guys already know the number. Number has not changed. 305-600-2896. 305-600-2896. Let me go through my thing first. With that being said, again, we talked about the market being down almost 1,500 points, or 1,500, yeah, 1,500 points in the Dow Industrial Average. And look, you got a lot of people who are hoping the good times continue, and I'm totally with that. We're underneath the 50 moving average on well over 70% of the industrial average publicly traded stocks. But when I look at the American economy, right, and you do your basic research and you see that over 60% of the working people in America are under the age of 50, what is the justification for continued higher or extremely high, equities? What's the justification for that? These people don't want to be paying these kind of prices, for stock. What's the justification? When I look at we recently had this hurricane here in Florida. You're telling me we're at all-time highs. You're telling me the economy is so great. Florida opened up 50 emergency shelters, ended up being 110 because people were so poor they couldn't leave. They had to open up every damn high school, middle school that they could find. So something is not adding up. The demographics aren't on the side for the continuation of those all-time values. And also there's just something not connecting on the ground when I see the fact that we got a lot of poor people out here. We got a lot of poor people out here. So that's why, yes, Jeff, I'm a big believer that and I've been saying it for a long time. I hope I'm not jumping too early on this, but I'm just so excited that this could be a huge correction. And there could be a potential that somebody in this chat room, that me, could make a shit ton of money buying puts as our economy corrects itself. As our economy corrects itself, and we get to some smarter valuations here. We get to some smarter valuations. Look, there's been a lot of cheap money floating around for a very long time. You got a lot of people who are really, really rich. I'm talking, forget the 1%. Take the 10% of the 10% highest earners in America. These people are heavily invested in equities. Huge. They've made a lot of money, man. They've made a lot of money. Right? They've made a lot of money. And if you got to be honest, the little guy hasn't necessarily. I mean, if he hasn't taken bold risk, he probably hasn't made that much money. But there's an opportunity to make a lot of money going on the downside. We've talked about puts before. If you don't know anything about options, please do your research on it. It's a very valuable thing to learn. Trading options, not just trading straight stock. But if you want to just go ahead and short stock, by all means, we can look at, tickers like IWM, which is an ETF based on the Russell 2000. Many of those companies that are in the IWM, they're built on sticks. These are companies that look, interest rates move a little higher. All of a sudden, those loans are hard to meet. You've got a lot of these Russell 2000 companies that are already borderline, unprofitable or not profitable at all. And now in a high interest rate environment, they got to sell some assets. They've got to stop paying altogether. What does that mean for prices? What does that mean for the prices of these stocks and ETFs that, are involved in these type of, micro cap, small cap, mid cap type of plays? So it's one that you've got to also be very, very aware of. Be very aware of. We did have Walmart today make a purchase. They made a purchase of a boutique or something, right? Yeah, the lingerie bare necessities. That's why Walmart, decent day today on Walmart for those of you guys who play that kind of expensive kind of thing. Bare necessities. I asked my girl what it was about. It's basically if you got huge boobs, you buy your stuff at Bare Necessities, right? I guess it's for girls with like huge racks. All right, so it looks like Walmart going ahead and being the new owner of that. All right, a lot of people getting big right now, so it makes sense for them. All right, real estate. Real estate's taking a big hit. The biggest right now in America, the biggest ETF is that Vanguard Real Estate, the VNQ. Those of you guys who use that 25-50 strategy, I don't know when I'm going to finish this damn DVD and this damn ebook. I think the ebook is going to come out first. But you guys already know the 50 line on using it on the daily, the weekly, or in the short time frame using the hourly. This is a great strategy. You can go as close to 10 minutes too. I did that today. I posted that on Twitter. I made $1,000 on a $3,600 bet today on SPY. I posted that on Twitter. Shout out to the people who follow me there on Twitter as well as on Instagram. Got Penny Stocks is the username. But yeah, VNQ broke below the 25 moving average as well as the 50 RSI line. Again, they basically work the same way. And for those of you guys who've been, either short in cash or preferably in options, whether it be the actual ETF or one of its components, you've been a big winner, right? You've been a big winner. $83 is where it successfully broke. Obviously, there have been some fake outs through the trend, but, look, real estate's taking a hit. Real estate's taking a hit. That $500,000 house in Compton doesn't sound so attractive when you've got to pay another $400 a month because your interest rate is adjusted. There are a lot of people sitting on some property that I don't know. I don't know. I mean, you guys, some of you guys in here live in Cali. You know about the $400,000 properties in Compton with bars on it. I can show you $200,000 properties in drug-infested neighborhoods in Detroit with bars on the windows. Real estate's gotten ridiculous. It's gotten ridiculous. I don't want to come off as too much of a pessimist, but I can't not be a realist. Yeah. What's going on, Money Stay Woke? Appreciate you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, we had a really great run in cannabis. Things have cooled off a little bit. I mean, when you talk about, give me some cannabis plays. Let me get off my high horse here. Give me some penny plays. If you want to start off with cannabis, we can. But if we talk about some borderline plays like MSIG, right? I mean, these ran a couple weeks ago, but I mean, they've kind of cooled off here. I remember I saw this MSIG move here back in September. It was a nice little thing, but we didn't really, it wasn't a huge move. Let me take off my moving average not to confuse people. All right, zoom in there. Yeah, it wasn't a big move. Let me see what a BUDZ. We didn't get, we didn't see the big moves. Show me a marijuana play that made a huge move. There's Buds. What about Can? Can did a little bit. And Can's a nice little low float play. Well, it was low float. I don't know what the float is now. Yeah, gold is finally making a move. If you're looking at gold, you can't deny JNUG. You know, we can't deny JNUG. That's always a good look for gold. All right? Whether you want JNUG or you want the components of JNUG, some of those, you know, those miners, some of those very, very delicious miners plays that are trading, some of them below $1, by the way. You might want to look into that. Ken, what's going on? 646. What's up,
Hey,
bro?
nice talking to you. I haven't seen you and talked to you in a long time.
Yeah, it's been a minute, Ken.
This PURA, I think it's a cannabis stock, PURA. Take a look at that one. The huge volume this week.
Let me see here. Yeah, I did see that. Okay, somebody hit me up on PURA. I didn't believe it, but then yeah, I did notice PURA the other day. But boy, I mean, it pulled back pretty aggressively today. But I expect that. I mean, this is what you kind of expect when you get to some very aggressive levels in the short term. Tell me a little bit about it, Ken. I mean, you know, obviously you had some guys buying the dip here. What do you see in it?
It's one of those cannabis drink plays. I know that's the CBD, but those have been hot. I think it's being pumped, and there was some kind of Goldman letter saying 25 cents short term on that stock.
Yeah.
And I'm just impressed with the volume. I mean, it traded, I think, 100 million shares yesterday.
Yeah.
Float's not that big.
Yeah, float's not that big. Huge run. I mean, obviously, you know, again, this is a stock that you wish you really kind of paid attention. That's why these OTCs, you really got to kind of keep them on your radar. If you're in it, you're in it, and you really have to love this, you know, the segment. But PURA, nice move. You know, again, if you don't understand how to trade these, you know, stay out. But PURA, nice move for now.
And take a look at the sister one, KG. That's one that's a lot cheaper.
Canna Gold. Now, KG, I've heard of it, but I don't know too much about this company.
I don't know that much either. It's a cannabis drinks again.
Also a cannabis play? Okay. Yeah, I'm not familiar with it. I know Pura, they weren't a pure play cannabis. I know they had something about like a farm down in South America or some crap like that. But
right.
KG, I'm not too familiar on.
Okay. I think we have that national legalization in Canada this coming week. Yeah. So maybe that's why these things are running. Who knows?
I would love to see it. I mean, one of my old favorites, USEI, popped up today, but I mean, it's in the triple, so it's been a triple for a long time. I mean, if we can see any believers, hopefully that can show up again here soon. But for the most part, I've been kind of disappointed in the marijuana sector. I mentioned that it has got some issues with the fact that, you know, with basically $1 million, anybody can get into the business. Maybe that could be, considered a reason why it hasn't really taken off. But, I thought by now we'd start seeing some of these marijuana stocks being considered for uplisting in some of the higher tier markets. But, you know, now almost 4 or 5 years since the boom in 2012, I mean, we're still, we're still talking about 000, marijuana stocks. This is kind of crazy.
It is. The money seems to be flowing. If you remember, like about 2 to 3 weeks ago, the NBEV and TLRY. I mean, those stocks, they acted like penny stocks. They shot up like 300% in just a few days. So there's money pouring. You gotta. It depends what sector.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
NBEV, did NBEV do a reverse split, or was this like a real? No, this was a real legit.
No, it was a real move.
Jesus.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
I know.
I did not see that. Wow.
Yeah, pretty amazing. Yeah, and huge volume on that move.
Wow. Okay, wow. Congrats to them. That sucker went from 150 to damn near 10.
Yeah, and I got a piece of that. It's incredible.
Wow.
Just incredible. PYX, the Citron Research, saying it's going to 65. That's another cannabis drink play.
Yeah.
So it's interesting stuff.
You said PYX, right?
I think it's PYX. Is the symbol PYX? It's a decent chart.
Q6 International. I don't know how to pronounce that, but
Yeah, Fixes and right.
okay, all right. Higher tier
There's
play.
a
It's not the
nice
cheapest
picture
stock,
of that.
but yeah, nice play though. I mean, up 3% today.
Not bad, not
Great,
bad,
great
not bad,
volume, great PE, nice books, decent books. Yeah, not bad. Okay.
not bad, not bad. Just changing the subject. Can I bring up the pred on the show tonight? PRED.
Yeah,
Just give you an
let's
update.
talk about it. I mean, I didn't want to jump on Pred because I
Yeah.
felt like I don't know. There was something different about this rally, man. I don't want to say it wasn't legit. I just didn't. I don't know. The first time I felt like there were so many guys on it. This time it just kind of felt like,
I know. Not much volume either. But,
right. The volume was light, and I was like, I don't want to make a video about this. Get somebody in here trapped. Tell me a little bit about it.
I
What's your sentiment on it?
Well, I think the critical piece is that this Form 10 that everyone's harping on Twitter and investors, it has to come out, and then institutional buying will come in. And supposedly there'll be some more people from big pharmaceutical companies on the board, but that it's the Form 10. It's the volume's too light right now, and the problem is with light volume, the shorts can take it down, and they are. I mean, I think it goes down to $1.23, the 100-day moving average.
Yeah.
The chart sucks right now, but there is accumulation. If you look at the money flow index and chart, and there's still huge accumulation. So, but it's hard being patient when there's so much other opportunity out there.
Absolutely.
It's really hard.
Yeah, I mean, the shorts are going to eat this alive, at least for the time being.
Yeah, unless you get that.
I mean, it's just not heading in the right direction, and the chart doesn't support even the idea of a bounce right now. Just, I mean, I'm just not even seeing, the kind of,
Right.
Pattern you want to see on a stock that could be recovering. It's just not there yet. But hopefully, again, we can have some news to kind of change the sentiment here.
Definitely. And one more, you mentioned we talk about EARS. That just an amazing company. Oh, God, wow. I mean it's made 300%.
Yeah. EARS has been a monster, and it's been a monster play because guys are just buying it up. I mean, this is a stock. Men have loved. I'm going to say men and women have loved to buy before. I mean, it's made some incredible highs in the past. It's made some incredible multi-day runs in the past. So, this isn't a stock that's not familiar to people. And, these stocks kind of go in phases, and right now it's hot, man. I mean, the news, on a strength of 1 to 10, honestly, I want to say it's a 7, but still, guys are buying it up and buying it in huge loads. I mean, incredible volume, 35 million shares traded today, a 44% move. It was the leader today on the exchange. I think it's been the leader for the last 2 days in a row.
$1.06 in after hours.
$1.06.5. Wow, and it's a monster play.
And was it Sal? The float is the float really 5.74 million? That's what it shows in FinViz. I mean, so the 5-6 times the float traded.
Let me see here what we're looking at right now. I'll tell you in just a second if that was ears was the play.
Yeah, I'm looking on OTC markets as well. It shows here outstanding shares total 48.3 million, but it doesn't show float. But FinViz says it's 5.74 million.
Okay.
I can check E-Trade.
Equity feed is telling me 16.1.
Still, that's double the float.
Yeah, that's still good. I mean, that's still a very good amount
incredible.
for a stock below $1. Well, now just above $1. That's still pretty good. So. We could have higher prices here. I mean, 79 RSI, we've seen stocks go higher. So let's see what happens now with ears. If they continue to follow up with good news, this is a stock that's, the company's put out news pretty much every other day this week. Let's see if they
have an update coming up on Wednesday the 17th, it shows on FinViz. There's going to be they're going to hold a clinical state, some kind of press conference.
Okay.
A live conference call at 8 in the morning on Wednesday, the 17th.
Okay.
So that's kind of good. I mean, so maybe we get another day or two.
Absolutely.
That conference.
Ken, I got a question from you from someone in the chat room. A Ranger 51 asked about Fuzz. What's going on with Fuzz? Are you still following it? He mentions that there's a possible double bottom off the 37 lows.
No,
which he's
that was a
correct
good one.
on. What do you see Fuzz going here? Could it? It doesn't make a good low risk trade here.
That's a very good question. It started the year at 8 cents. So it's still It's still up for the year. I don't know. I mean, the chart. There's no volume. Look at the chart. I'd like to see some volume come in before even thinking of getting into it, and
Yeah.
it needs to break above that 50-day moving average of 47 cents.
Mm-hmm.
You could see how it just can't. For month after month, it never breaks above the 50-day moving average. So, I just don't see a rush to get into it yet. I know, I mean, Rory, whatever. It just. How about yourself?
Yeah. I mean,
I
personally,
wish I had.
I don't see it either. I mean, my thing is, I'm not afraid to be a little late to the party. You know, I hate the kind of like sit and wait type of thing, particularly when you're really not on the floor. I mean, if we were at 8 cents or 7 cents and we were sitting on, the same price for a month or so, then I can understand, and we had some volume coming in. But I mean, this still has the potential to go lower. So
It definitely does.
yeah, it does. It has the potential to go lower. We could be talking 35, 30 cents, 20 cents. I mean, who knows? Let the stock prove itself to you before you put your money in there.
There's a new book that someone wrote. He took all Tim Sykes' material and put it in. It's called The Complete Penny Stock Course. I just got the book. I strongly recommend it to everyone listening, chatting here. It's because again, you using the charts. The charts. Stop drinking the Kool-Aid. It's so easy to drink the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
And then you know.
I mean, but it's
anyway.
OTCs, Ken. The people get excited. People want to make some money. You know,
I know.
I've been a victim. You know, I've been a perpetrator.
Me too. I
have
well. Me too. Me too.
You know, at the end of the day, you're right. You're right. You just have to look at the charts and use your moving averages and hope things work out.
Exactly. It's a pleasure, and nice talking to you all again.
Appreciate you, Ken. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Yes, indeed. Shout out to Ken. Long time listener, long time caller. Appreciate you, Ken. Yes, indeed. Appreciate you for the call. Somebody's birthday in here. Shout out to you, Candace Thomas. It is her 30th birthday. Happy birthday, Candace. Thank you for watching. Do pretty bitch 666. Do I have extra job? No, ma'am. I trade. I am an affiliate marketer. I have like over 26 websites right now, and I'm an affiliate marketer. So trading is a hobby, but also a big part of my business. Thanks, Gates. Yeah. You got to do your research on some of these plays, man. You got to do your research on some of these plays. SSRM, what is that? A common stock. Ken mentioned gold earlier. He mentioned gold earlier. One gold stock that was up real big yesterday. Was that yesterday or the day before? Was Load. Load was one. Let me know a little bit, Shirley Lewis, what's this SSRM play? I'm going to have to do some research on that. Load was another one. Very interesting here. This is a stock that, is above that 25-day moving average and looking very interesting here. Look, at the end of the day, it's a penny stock. It's got the risk of all that comes with it, right? I mean, it's got, I don't see a delist risk immediate to this play, but it's out there. So it's out there. Understand that it's out there. But for more expensive plays, there's MUX. MUX is a very interesting stock because this is a play where you have an owner manager. The actual CEO of the company is the owner of the company. He's heavily invested in this stock, and obviously that's something that you got to take an interest in because his name is on the business. So you think that obviously his best interest is to see the company succeed. It's a stock that's ran hard before, and if this sell-off is for real, if we do see continued fears this interest rate environment, then gold can very well start to rally again. Can very well start to rally again. Corey Kwan, I can't answer that question. I don't even pay taxes, bro. Nah, I'm just playing. I do, but I don't. Candace Ann, so you think it's the bottom on defense is in? Oh man, don't remind me of Roku. Wande Casa. You know, Roku is a stock that killed me. You know, not too long ago. You know, as a trader, you always remember the stocks that kicked your ass. And Roku was one of those. Roku was one of those. I almost cried on the damn show because of Roku. I mean, it wasn't like a lot of money, but I don't like to fucking lose. I don't like to lose. I like $400, $500, $700, $1,000. Okay, that's fine. But Roku, boy, that shit got my ass. I ain't gonna lie. It got my ass. Do I think Facebook is going to break? What, let me just check that chart. Let me suck it up and check the chart. Look at Roku. And Roku, this was back in November. Yeah, this was back in November. And Roku beat earnings. It was an earnings beat, and I bought puts. It was at 37. Yeah, I bought the $37 puts. And this sucker just kept going up, bro. It went to 40. I bought more. Went to just 45, 46. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? That sucker just kept going in the wrong direction. It was ridiculous, man. Here we have Roku now at $60 a share. Ken mentioned Citron Research. I wonder what he thinks about it now. You know, Roku, look, at the end of the day, I know people are cutting the cord, but damn, Roku boxes suck butt. Roku boxes are horrible, man. You know, you can go and get yourself a Kodi box or get yourself Kodi, right? Some guys are using like an old computer with a decent graphics card, and they're just running Kodi to their computer, you know, through a HDMI, and you know, they're getting all the channels, all the movies, all the TV shows they want, free of charge. You know, obviously that's not going to be every consumer, but you know, isn't there better options than Roku? Surprising enough, you know, the stock did run very aggressively, as you see here, since the summer. I mean, you made a lot of money on this thing. I mean, what is that? $35 to $77 was the high. Again, you know, my 25-50 strategy did make you some money. Obviously, there were some fake outs along the way, but for the most part, it held, right? It held. It crossed that 50 moving average, and if you held it, I mean, it's not 50 moving, 50 RSI, and crossed above the 25-day moving average, it held it pretty well. Obviously, it kind of faked you out a little bit, but if you followed the pattern, you made some good money on this. You know, 10,000 stocks to follow. You can't follow them all, right? Thousands of stocks, limited income or limited, you know, assets to trade. Steve has a lot to do with intent. You get audited. Yeah, obviously, man, it has to do a lot with intent. Absolutely, Michael Gates. Absolutely. And I do everything I do is through a corporation. I don't do anything in my own name, man. I don't do anything. It's just funny like that. I'm funny like that, man. My first corporation was called Detroit Real Estate, something like that. And I bought this, man. I thought I would be, you know, I got involved in this Carlton Sheets type thing. You know, there's old guy named Carlton Sheets, and he had like a no money down program. I was just stupid, man. I ended up losing a whole lot of money in that shit. So I don't know if anybody here remembers that. You remember Carlton Sheets? Anybody remember that guy? Oh my God. You know, just the things you do when you were younger. You know, I'm 32. I still consider myself young, but I was basically like just out of high school. I'm knocking on goddamn old people's door telling, "Hi, I'm interested in buying your home. I don't got no money, no nothing. Just being a damn idiot." Yeah. SEC Trace says he remembers that crook. Let's keep looking at some of these plays. NIO. I don't know too much about this company. Obviously they recently went public. Looking at the chart here, it looks like they recently went public. I can't do too much research on this. Not much is out there. I do see here a company was founded in 2014. Recently went public. Chinese entrepreneur William Li. That's the thing about Asian people, or Chinese people in particular. They have a name William Li. Is really like Shong Jung Chao Kung Li, but they just put William just because it's easier for them to do business with Europeans. But I bet his real name is like something like that. Not to sound racist as fuck or anything. Shanghai-based automobile manufacturer that specializes in designing and developing electric. Oh, okay. So what is this? The Chinese Tesla? Big plans to become the Tesla of China. Okay, wow, look at this. Right in the article. Okay, shout out to Neo. NIO. Okay, Candace said it. Okay, the China Tesla. Okay. All right, then we'll go ahead and short that too. Okay. We'll just go ahead and get your shorts ready on that one, man. Just go ahead and get it ready on that one, man. We already know where that's going, man. Look how many bag holders you already have in the play already. Not even 2 months of trading. Look how many bag holders you already have in this thing, man. They have branches in San Jose. Okay. Yeah, I appreciate y'all. Press like on that. I appreciate you guys. Don't take it personal on Roku. You lost some money. Put on Apple. Should break your phone. Man, shout out to Apple, man. Apple's able to make billions of dollars selling you phones with 4-year-old technology, man. You take some of the technology in some of these brand new iPhones coming out, and they got Chinese versions, not of the exact phone, but of phones with the same specs that came out like last year for like half the price. There's a Chinese phone brand called Honor, Honor. These guys make phones that kill iPhones. I mean, some of the specs are just like insane. Processors, RAM. There's a phone called the Honor 10. This is like a $600 phone. This thing shits on the iPhone XS that's coming out right now. I mean, just completely shits all over it. All right. But shout out to Apple. They've got the brand loyalty. They've got the name recognition. And, they're running away with it. They had a huge investment made by Warren Buffett earlier this year. It was a big deal across the investment space. All right. Shout out to Warren Buffett. This is that guy, I can go on and on about him. Just basically born at the right time to the right people. His story has a lot to do with luck than skill, but hey, that's a different conversation. HIPH. This is a stock. This is really interesting because this is a stock that they actually hired me to promote the stock back in 2016. I can't remember. Some of you guys who were subscribed to my old freestockpicks.org website, you might still have it in your Gmail. HIPH. Good to see them running real good because they actually have a decent thing going. I mean, they got a legit product. The product at the time, I don't know now, but they were sold at Walmart. Good, great tasting alkaline water. So they have a product you can touch, feel, swallow, all that. HIPH. They're just dealing with the typical, things that an OTC company deals with. This is really the lack of real, working capital. The lack of real working capital. But good to see the stock moving. As you can see here, the stock was below a penny, now trading at 7 cents a share. It was below a penny back in late August. Late August. So over 800%. I mean, if we go and look at the high, I mean, you're talking 1,000 there, when you get up there. But congratulations to them. I'll give them the coin. Matter of fact, let me give them a big, they're a huge winner for that, because that's a big play. I'll give them that. That's a big win for such a short period of time. Well over 1,000%. Well over 1,000% on those plays, on that play. Okay, let's keep it going. Appreciate you, Rich Million. Shout out to Rich Million, man. You killed it on that TREP play. I saw you post TREP, and you've been talking about TREP because when I saw it pop, I went on Twitter and I looked at who had been talking about it. Because when you see a stock pop, if you got the time, go on Twitter and find out, put it in, $ in the ticker, and find out who was talking about it when nobody was talking about it. And that's a person you got to follow. That's a person you got to follow. And Rich Million, you had been on TREP. I saw it. You've been on TREP for a minute. So either you knew something was about to pop off, or, you were just lucky on this one. But again, huge move, well over 500% gained on TREP. And Rich Million, go ahead and put your Twitter thing in the chat room if you can, so people who have Twitter can follow you there. DeWitt Ocheng, why don't I like Forex? Appreciate you, DeWitt. I love Forex. The only thing about Forex for me is that, I like the exotics. So if my favorite Forex pair is US dollar, South African rand. I love the exotics, right? Because I understand the dynamics when you're talking about, U.S. currency and in African currencies. We know one is never going to be greater than the other, so that already tells you what the relationship is going to be there. So it makes it a lot easier to make money, all right? So I love the exotic pairs. You can call right now, a Rich Million. You can call right now. Let's keep it going. Let me see before he calls in any other tickers. PSA 2, give me the ticker for Corium International Incorporated. I'm not familiar with that. I'm not familiar with that ticker, bro. Forex is only fun when emerging markets die. Come on. We don't want emerging markets to die. I want emerging markets to do well. All right? I get it, though. I mean, obviously, when they suffer, U.S. travelers, can make a killing when they go in that country. Not necessarily because they have a tendency to change prices over there. But I get what you're saying, though. I get what you're saying. But I want the emerging economies to do well. That's one thing that a lot of people have been talking about when we talk about our economy and the fact that we've had this incredible 10-year run, is that when you're talking about real margins, right, whether it be in infrastructure, manufacturing, whatever that is, it's getting smaller and smaller in America, right? The cost of labor now is more expensive than ever before in our country. So when you're talking about where to make real money, it's these emerging market nations. That's where the real money is. Yes, you're still going to see construction cranes in New York or whatever city you live in, but you're not going to see the cranes like you're going to see in Vietnam, in Brazil, right? In some of these other, in India, some of these African countries, and some of these other countries in South America. The margins are, and the ease of doing business has gotten a lot better. So the next 25, 50 years, it belongs to these emerging market nations. That's just the truth. That's just the truth. 305-600-2896 is the number. PER. Is this the ticker you were talking about? PER. I know it's an oil play, right? Sandbridge. I know it's an oil play. Houston-based. Yeah, okay. Houston-based oil energy play. Not familiar with the company at all. Obviously, it looks like they've had a really sleepy 3 years here. This thing has gone nowhere in 3 years. So let me know why you'd be interested in it and why all of a sudden you're bringing it up. But I don't see any movement in the chart over 3 years. PTN, Palatine Technologies. I used to be really excited about PTN because I this was considered the whole Internet of Things kind of play. Did some huge things a couple years ago. PTN did. Now been pretty sleepy, but again, this is a stock that had some moves this summer, going into this summer. It's cooled down quite a bit now, and looking to retest some recent lows here. So just be careful there. Oh, my bad. 305-600-2896. 559. Is this Rich Million?
Yes, sir.
Rich, what's going on, man?
All good, man. First of all, dude, I want to thank you for doing the show. I actually appreciate it, man. People can't imagine how much work it really does take to build your following and taking the time out of your day yourself,
I appreciate you, bro.
I appreciate that, man.
Thank you. Now,
thank you for the shout out. Man. I appreciate that as well. The company TREP, I discovered it. I pulled an all-nighter. I did a lot of research on it. I tagged everybody I could the same day, the time I got it, no front loading, none of that stuff. And if you notice, the stock held above 300% gains on the daily, and it stayed above the VWAP on the second day when it really popped off. The float is only 24 million. The float has not changed in over 5 years from the start of the ticker's life. The CEO is a big boy. Well, the current CEO is an attorney. He owns 20% of the stock. The former CEO, he switched last year. He's actually the chairman, so the current CEO answers to him. That guy's a multi-millionaire. He owns 3 tickers on the OTC market. The company, I'm going to go over the fundamentals. The company has been making a net profit every quarter. This last quarter, they made a $230,000 net profit. Their sales for 2017 were $8 million. This year, they're going to go above that. Their company website is being the website's being redone because they've changed their plan a bit. Their market cap is 1.9 million at 4.5 cents. The float is 24 million. Their sales were 8 million. And what makes these guys special is so they have disputed liabilities of 32 million. Okay, I want to give people the whole picture. Don't want to fool anybody. And those disputed liabilities are with the IRS. And this company has sued the IRS. It's going on 3 years plus now. And the current CEO, he's an attorney. He's an attorney, and he's also a professor in San Diego University. And this guy's basically fighting him. There's only 2 people in management, Mr. Brian, the chairman, and the current CEO, Neptune. What this company does is it's not a temp company. It's PEO, something I recently learned about. But what these guys do is basically say, Sal, you have a restaurant and you have 10 employees, and say you need more employees, whatever. What this company does is they get you the worker, but they do that. They offer for that person the insurance, everything that has to do with paperwork. They take care of it. They bring you the worker, and they get a percentage of it. And people that have small businesses and they only have 5 employees, they take care of like investments for them for life. Like they offer 401k plans, they offer insurance, they basically offer everything that has to do with paperwork. And the company has not changed their float in 5+ years. They have $19.9 million paid to workman's comp. I want people to understand that. In 6 months, they added $750,000. I'm looking at the paperwork because I don't want to misquote anything. Just a second.
Okay, interesting. A true micro cap play. I mean, obviously, is there any talk of when these disputed liabilities could be taken care of? Have they given any guidance in regards to what?
The company, man, is extremely silent. If you ever read their PRs, it's 2 paragraphs, man. There's no fluff behind it, and I've never seen that in any other OTC company. They're very silent. I actually have the CEO's personal cell phone number, but I don't want to call him because that's kind of, I've sent him an email. Tomorrow I'm going to call the university his hours when he accepts calls from students. So I'm going to call as an investor because these guys they're kind of silent and they're making money. Their 8Ks, their quarterlies are so easy to read. So easy to read. One thing that really caught my eye was it says prepaid workers' compensation and other assets are $19.9 million as of June 20th, 2018. December 31st, 2017 were $19.1 million. So in 6 months, they paid over $750,000 to paid workmen's compensation. And so one thing, this stock would be going about 10, 20 cents. And this is what happens, Sal. A lot of the big boys on Twitter, right? They run a lot of scams, man, in the OTC game. There's a community. They run the show. They have the large followings. And those guys profited. They're not talking about this stock at all. They want this thing to crash back down so they can load. But apparently people see the value in it. In 2 weeks, the volume, in 7 days of trading, the volume has been over 16 million shares traded. The float is 24 million. As crazy as this is going to sound, I have 500,000 shares, so I put a lot of money in it. My average is 0.025. I actually did not end up selling because I see it going higher. There was naked shorting involved. That's that's side business, and I checked all that on FINRA's website. But point is, from the start of this company's life, these guys have never diluted any shares, and I haven't seen anything like that. I hope people take the time to look into it and do their own research, pump and dump all the time. All right. So I'm not even going to read the comments, but it's a decent company. Before that, I mentioned MOMT. Sal, I'm going to send you a snapshot of my INTK. I've been holding that stock for 2+ years. 50% of my shares are long-term capital gains now. And this one's legit, sir. And people won't talk about it on Twitter because they don't want their followers going.
INTK is the stock you're talking about, right?
Yes, sir. That's the second one. I've been holding that one for 2+ years. Okay. And one thing I really like is, hey, your setup is amazing. One thing I love the technical indicator I always like to use is accumulation. If there's dilution being taking place, the accumulation drops. And if the accumulation continues to go up, that means, there's not notes. Okay. But
now you mentioned, Rich, that TREP, the CEO, owned 2 other companies besides TREP.
2 other tickers.
Yeah,
he owns many other companies, but he owns 2 tickers. The other ticker, hold on, just a second. Let me look at it. Now those tickers are, going through my notes, man.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, the other ticker is D Delta Frank Charlie O.
Okay, so obviously, this isn't doing much, but okay, it's one to watch just in case, just to keep my.
So one thing I want to say is, there's like 2 million liabilities that TREP has, and these 2 million liabilities, they owe to Delta Frank Charlie O. So the same person that owns the ticker, he has his own financing company, and he's using his own financing company to fund his other companies. And all that information is
yeah, it's all paper. It's all paper. So he's playing games here. It's interesting. Okay.
Taxes, basically.
Yeah.
And it's just all I'll say is, if someone is listening, I know like 5 guys followed me. I never cared about that much before, but now that I started putting a lot more work into it, listen, man, if you have $3,000, say you hit the ask for 1,000, dude, have the other 2,000 on the bid at 30-40% below or whatever. This is a stock that the accumulation is good on, and you know, I always tell people, hey man, you get a starter, you bid for the rest, because the market is too big to fool other people, man. You know, it's about integrity at the end of the day, and there's just so much money out there. You know, just if you get a starter, just bid for shares. And one thing it is if you do comment on iHub or you tweet about TREP, there's a few people that will send you personal messages to bash it, so you end up selling your shares.
There it is. Appreciate you, Rich. Thanks for the call, man.
Hey, man, thank you, man. You have a wonderful night.
All right, you too. So shout out to Rich Million. You know, that's a guy you want to really follow if you're really deep into the OTC game, man. There's guys who, and he's just scratching the surface. I mean, he's got, obviously you hear his DD, but there are guys who are really deep in this game, man. You know, what SC Trucker is saying is you know, look, you got to know what you're talking about. You got to have capital if you want to play that game, or you don't have any capital at all, and you just want to, you know, hopefully get into the right thing, and you can have a USEI type of situation like I did back in 2014, you know. Barely have some cash, and all of a sudden you hit the, you know, you hit it, and it just, boom, overnight, 300%. Somebody was talking about HMNY. Let's rise up here a little bit. Hit NASDAQ. Are we still in NASDAQ? I think they're OTC now, aren't they? They got to be OTC now. HMNY's got to be OTC now. I don't know why they're still showing up as NASDAQ here on TradingView. Have they already filed for bankruptcy? I don't know if they have yet. I don't think they've filed for bankruptcy yet. Let me see. Raise memory. Yeah, that run was real suspicious. But you know what, guys? Like I was mentioned, yeah, that was a beautiful pop, man. Guys made some money on that. That was a 200%. That's a 300% move. I'm telling you, just because some of these stocks are down and out, it doesn't mean it's game over. That's why I was talking about MGTI. What's going on, Kenny Dutton? Desert Air, he said OTC stocks. I'm telling you, OTC, you can make a shitload of money. You got to know what you're doing. You can make a shitload of money. It's a little bit slower. It's a little, you know, it's going to test your nerves a lot more, but you can make money there. But HMNY, you know, it could very well do it again. I'd love to see, you know, the actual bankruptcy come down. I want to see the actual Q on it. It's always scary just putting your money into something like that because you know that other shoe is going to drop and you just don't know how it's going to behave once it does. But once it does, what happens is that, you know, these news releases get really emotional for people. And things come out, and all of a sudden, this 1 cent, 2 cent stock can very well double in value, triple in value. You know, so once that Q shows up, you know, you got some capital laying around, you'd be surprised to see what can happen with some of these Q plays. Yeah, obviously, yeah. After that run, the dilution has got to, I mean, the float's got to be ridiculous by now. I don't know what it is now. But sure, after that huge run, the float's got to be pretty ridiculous. Look, they did it to themselves. To themselves, you know. MoviePass was a great company when they first acquired it. Those of you guys who've been following this company, you know very well that MoviePass was profitable. At the, what was the original price? It was like $39.99 or something like. It was profitable. It was profitable. I think they came down to 19, and then they came down to a preposterous $9.99. or whatever that low was. It was ridiculous. Absolutely unlimited movies for $9, and you can bring somebody with you. Come on, that's ridiculous. Absolutely, they destroyed themselves. They destroyed themselves. And I hope they get sued up the ass for it, because the decisions that were made, you know, they clearly weren't made to build shareholder value. I don't know why they were made, but they weren't made to build shareholder value. You know, it's really sad what's happened to HMNY. Really, really sad. Okay, really sad. Yeah, speaking of options, I should have talked about this point. I didn't hit this point, but many of the option plays, again, as interest rates increase, you're gonna want to eat stocks like XLF or ETFs like XLF and its components alive. I mean, this is XLF. For those of you guys who don't know, this is the Spider financial play. It includes plays like Bank of America, JP Morgan Chase. I mean, many of these stocks are at all-time highs right now, and they're going to lose, 20, 30, 40% if we go into recession territory. These things are going to come down like a rock. I mean, you can go back and see what happened 2008, 2009. There's going to be a lot of money to be made if, obviously it's going to be a different kind of event, but the losses are going to be very similar. All right. The extent of the losses are going to be very, very similar. So XLF, this ETF, or again, the components, Bank of America, JP Morgan, they have all very similar, they very, very similar charts. All right. Very similar charts. Obviously, this is JP Morgan Chase, 2008 to 2009. You went from 50 all the way to $15, 50 to 15. So, and again, all of these financial companies now, they're practically at all-time highs. They're all practically at all-time highs. So, this is a great time to study them and, put a little risk on the table. This is a great time to study and put a little risk on the table. Read a little bit more about the economy. I know we have the housing data report coming on Tuesday of next week. We had the CPI number. What was that? That was on Wednesday, I believe. CPI, if you don't know who are, basically analysts take a basket of products that people buy. They, figure out how much people are paying for it. And if they're paying more, then that's a bad thing. That means that, people have to spend more. If they're paying less, right, or if that basket is less than what people spent the month prior, then that means, people have more money and things are cheaper, supposedly. You could look into that, the CPI number. Some people really, really believe in that number. All right. But yes, that housing data is going to be Tuesday. That's going to have a lot to do with the housing starts. And I believe it's going to be a bad number, a number above 50, if I'm correct. Right? A number above 50 when we talk about that housing data number. You're going to have to do your research on that again, too. I got to brush up on some of this stuff. But if housing data is weak, then you're going to see a huge L on ETFs like IYR. You're going to see a huge loss on this one, which is, again, another real estate ETF that's taken a huge loss, right, recently. All right, so real estate's in the dumps. And, of course, as I mentioned earlier, the biggest real estate ETF in the world, VNQ. All right, VNQ. Absolutely is put time, SC Trucker. Absolutely is put time. All right, but there was a big bounce expected today. If you remember, CNBC did that market in crisis bullshit. And that market in crisis show has been a great bottom indicator. That's always been a way that the banks and the investment bankers get people to buy, because basically what they had was a ton of quote-unquote professionals telling you, hey, the fundamentals of the economy are still strong. I think this is a serious opportunity right now for investors who are sitting on their hands. I mean, you can basically, say what's going to come out of their mouth. Before they even speak, I already know what's going to be. It's that ramble that doesn't say it's time to buy, but they're saying it's time to buy. That kind of bullshit. But at the end of the day, I'm telling you guys right now, when over 60% of the economy is under over 60% of American workers are under the age of 55 years old, why are we rooting for all-time highs? Why are we rooting for that? These people want to invest. They want to have a great retirement. They want to have a great retirement too. If you're over 65 and you missed the boat, right? You missed the late 70s, you missed the 80s, you missed the boom of the 90s and 2000s. Shit, you got an opportunity right now to play the downside of the fall and make some money to secure that retirement. Or if you're a young person, this is a time when you can be starting stacking that money up. So when that bottom happens, this becomes an opportunity for you to be able to look back 30, 40, 50 years from now and say, wow, this was a great investment choice. This was a great, that was a great time to buy. You got a lot of people who are in their 60s, late 60s, early 70s. They put a ton of market in the 70s during their young working years. They're sitting on, a couple $1,000,000 at this point in the market. They're sitting on a couple $1,000,000. It was a guy, second job, McDonald's. This guy was mentally handicapped, man. This guy was mentally handicapped. I was 16, maybe just a little over 16 years old. This guy had been working at McDonald's at the time, maybe over 30 years. Mentally handicapped guy sweeping the floors. But I do specifically remember people in the restaurant talking about how this guy, basically his whole damn paycheck was going into buying the McDonald's stock. I can only imagine, if he's still working there or when he retired, he had a shitload of money. Desert Edge, you said bottom was 09. No, I'm talking about guys who are doing the buy and hold. They're working, doing their job. You're living your life and you're investing, doing it the quote unquote right way. Yeah, these baby boomers are retiring. They're going to be cashing out. A lot of them, are going to be cashing out or just going to be passing on that inheritance on. They're going to be passing that inheritance on. And their kids are going to cash out. Because that's what kids do. They inherit mommy and daddy's money and they cash out. If it's a sentimental property, whether it be real estate or something like that, they may try to hang on to it. But for the most part, if you're talking about, some funds or something like that, they cash out. Thank you, Kenny. Oh yeah, there's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. These guys, and you can Google it, man. There are a lot of mentally handicapped McDonald's millionaires. If you went into a McDonald's in the mid 90s, early 2000s, 9 times out of 10 there was a guy sweeping who was mentally handicapped. That was like a big thing for McDonald's. They were trying to get people with disabilities working. And if you remember, I was a kid, but I remember Hillary Clinton. That was like her big thing, like getting people with disabilities to work. I mean, the Clinton administration, they were doing that a lot. So you can Google it. They're, McDonald's handicapped millionaires, man. They're for real out there. Quite a few of those. All right. So before we wrap it up, let's give me some tickers I saw somebody bring up AMD. The semiconductors have practically given back all their gains. The semiconductors, what's the, let me see. I know there's a big semiconductor ETF, semiconductor. I saw this ETF. What's the big semiconductor ETF? I think it was, I know they're not the most traded. Yes, SMH. How did I forget that? I always think of shaking my head. There it is. SMH. I've never bought options on this. So I don't know how liquid they are, but SMH, if you look at where SMH now, I mean, it's practically giving back, all year's gains. This is December right here. It's practically giving away its entire year's gains. And here we are right now, SMH. Right? I can zoom in a little bit so you can see it better. But the semiconductors are basically shitting on themselves right now. And again, you can look in the components of SMH and you can probably, if it's too expensive for you, you can probably find some cheaper components that make up SMH that you can short or buy puts on, right? And that has a lot to do. Again, I know there's some issues with China and whatnot that play involved there too. So there's some macro economic stories surrounding that situation. So you're gonna want to be careful there too. Yeah, SOXL. That's a leveraged ETF. I don't know if their options are available for that as well. This one too, people just tend to play straight stock. People with a lot of money. But this is a leveraged ETF, and a nice play as well. But again, sector wide, you're taking big L's on that. Here's AMD, which has been a really interesting play. Why did I put that there for that? Okay, yeah. That's why I was wondering where that arrow came from. But AMD, nice bounce staying above that. I paid attention to this. What was that? This last month I put that there. But you can see AMD now, again, falling below the 50 RSI, getting below the 25 moving average. And again, just following your moving averages or your RSI levels, whatever it is you do. But like anything, higher time frames show you even more accurate signals. And you can see here the most accurate signal was clearly the finding of the support back in June of this year, this summer. Wow, what a big run from 18 to 34. And then, of course, when it dipped below the 50 RSI on, what day was that? October 2nd, when it broke below $29. And that's your signal to buy puts on it. And sure enough, it's hung, and it's still hanging below that 50 or 25 moving average. All right? Still hanging below that. And, of course, your sell is when it tries to creep back above it. Nice play. AMD's been an insane mover. Look at this, man. AMD's been an insane mover. What's going on, Stock Junkie? What's going on, Connor? Been good, bro. Been good. It's been a long time since I've done this show, and I'm a little rusty, but I'm feeling it as I do it. So, about to wrap it up here in a bit. But how you doing, man? I haven't seen you post so much, Connor. What's going on? Are you in a group now? I've been noticing everybody like moving into these groups, like AJ's Awesome Calls, and I saw something with Spartan, and then I'm seeing guys are moving into different like clans now. Yeah, that's what it reminds me of, clans. I used to play these online games where guys were in clans. I forgot what the name of the damn. I don't even know if they use their word clans anymore, but that's how long long ago I used to play video games. MU's been another loser again. This is MU, I've been following it because it's really interesting because it can't break some of these RSI highs that it's set for itself. And as you can see here, its inability to break these RSI highs, unfortunately prevented from actually making any new highs with the stock price. That's another way to find a great shorting opportunity. Okay, just a friend of yours where you guys chat and trade together. Okay. Okay, cool. You said MU could rip. Yeah, if MU, breaks out of this pattern, again, I've been following MU. If it breaks out of this, this pattern, sure, it could be a rip. But, as I just showed you guys, the semiconductors aren't doing very well. But look, MU has an insane data business. And that's been the pillar of its recent earnings. So we're going into earnings next week. I don't know the exact date for, in fact, let me see, it's listed here. Oh, no, I don't think that's it. You might want to find out what the earnings day for MU, if you're interested, is. I know JP Morgan was today, right? JP Morgan was today. They bounced in the morning and then they ended up selling off. But JP Morgan was today. I know we got some huge ones coming next week. Or Discord chat rooms. Okay, yeah, guys. Yeah, a lot of guys in Discord chat rooms as well. NVIDIA being the biggest. Yeah, NVIDIA. Let me see here. NVIDIA. Obviously, like all the other ones, are pretty down, but a great company. Great company. This isn't a stock we're going to see to zero, but again, if you can get it, if we can ride this down to, the low twos, right? I can see it at 220 or 215. It's not out of the question at where it is now. But again, who can predict the future? All you can do is trade the chart. All right. But again, I just think there's some great opportunities here if this quote unquote correction is for real. That's what's up, Connor, man. Shout out to Connor, man. It's been around for a long time. We wouldn't even be talking options if it wasn't for Connor. I was stuck in the OTC world. This guy red pilled me, man. Anybody who watched some of my old episodes, I used to shut people down if they brought up a stock that was more than $5. No, sir. I'm sorry. We don't trade that here. We don't trade. A lot of that had to do with fear, and also had to do with the fact that I didn't really have no at the time. I didn't have money to trade those higher price stocks. I remember a guy called up. It was like $110 stock. I hung up on his ass because I was like, "Fuck that shit. I ain't got no money for that shit." But I didn't understand that the same kind of I can buy $100 stock, with a couple $100 using an option. I didn't understand that. So why spend $700 buying a 000 when I can take that $700 and I can buy, 4 or 5 calls. I can buy, or one deep in the money call of a really great company and still be able to double my money in a day or a couple days. I didn't understand that. I didn't understand that at the time. That's why a lot of guys, when they call me, man, tell me how to get started in penny stock. I push them into options, because once you get options, then okay, yeah, you got some money on the side. You want to play with some risk, then go to OTC. But to start out in OTC, and you start losing, you'll never come back. You'll probably like, oh fuck, man, that investing, that's a fucking scam. It's always like that. Yeah. Let me see. Shirley bringing up DBA. What is Invesco Agriculture Fund? agriculture fund. Don't know too much about this. Look, yeah, when 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 markets sell off, right? There's a tendency to run to value plays, to run to consumer staples, right? When the economy struggles, you'll start seeing, tickers like Dollar Tree, and let me see, what's the Dollar Tree ticker? I don't even know what the Dollar Tree ticker is. What's the ticker for Dollar Tree? I should know that. I don't know what the ticker for Dollar Tree. What's the Kellogg's? I know Kellogg's is K. Okay, they're struggling a little bit too. But there's a tendency to run to these kind of plays, or sometimes utilities. But utilities were big losers today. They'll run to cyclicals, yeah, like Campbell's Soup and stuff, yeah, Campbell's Soup. Things that people they know need to buy, or like I was just saying, utilities. You're gonna run to DTE, Consumers Energy. What else? Shout out to the guys in California. I don't know if you have any publicly traded utilities out there, but they're many across the country. You know what they are. Everybody needs to pay their light bill, and these companies are cash rich. They tend to be trading at very, very low PEs, and they're very safe. And you'll see a lot of money start moving into those kind of things. And, of course, precious metals, silver, gold, some copper to an extent, and other things. That's why we saw a big move in JNUG the other day, right? You'll see a big move in JNUG. Then you also see, and its components. For example, I pulled up LODE, LODE, earlier in the show. What other thing? They're also, and they're dirt cheap now too. I mean, I pulled up MUX. They're all, dirt cheap, piss poor stocks. With issues, but look at them. GORO. This is what happens. When these companies are going through these kind of issues. Here's GORO. Again, when many companies were losing, here's 2009 for GORO. So this is kind of what happens to these kind of plays. And here we already seen the stock a bit taking off. And this is, again, not the cheapest stock in the world. There's some other plays that are gold plays that are a lot cheaper. I picked GORO because it's decently priced, but it still gives you that, mid cap kind of strength at what's the market cap? Right. Some people could still consider it a penny stock. $317 million market cap. All right, but of course there are bigger companies out there, much bigger companies out there you can play. All right. With even bigger, here's AU. Here's AU, Anglo Gold. All right, I think this is a South African company, if I believe. Yeah, this is South African. $4 billion, dollar market cap. So as you can see here, another one that's up pretty big based on what's going on out here. All right, appreciate you, Shirley Lewis, for stopping by. Thank you. Yes, I'm a big believer in that, man. Yeah, Connor. Oh, great. Made $1,000 today on SPY. I bought the November 16th deep in the money 280 puts, 280 puts for next month. And again, I just wasn't buying the whole idea that today was going to be a huge bounce. Obviously, things did kind of recover toward the end of the day. We did see some buying, but we opened up pretty weak. And when I saw that, I just went for a deep in the money put. I said, okay, if it goes against me, my loss won't be too big. But then we just started going south, and sure enough, I just made sure to to sell into that, and I posted that on Twitter. And again, it was it's like a $4,000 trade and made $1,000 on it. That's I would have never. You spend some kind of money like that on OTC stock, you can make the same kind of return, but it's an unusually higher risk when you do it with an OTC stock. With an option, you put it up for $4,000, you could double your money sometimes in some of these situations, triple your money, even more, depending on what the news is and the trading environment. Yeah. What's the best way to get started in options? I mean, check out my man over at optionalpha.com, man. He's got 12 lessons. They're completely free of charge. You can go to optionalpha.com. Once you get a grasp of options and how to trade them, of course, hit up my, blackboxtrader.org. And, we got an entire option room that we trade in using an algorithm system. And it's also got a heat map now that we can literally pinpoint exact option strike prices, as well as stocks that are warming up to make a big move. So it's pretty complicated to explain, but it's kind of one of those things where you just gotta get in there and see it for yourself. But again, everybody's got their own way. All right, so we'll wrap it up here in just a bit, but let me go over a few more tickers. Somebody mentioned my Patreon. Yeah, I took my Patreon down months ago because I figured, why should people be paying me if I'm not going to be, if I'm going to be gone? I'm going to be enjoying the summer, right? I really wanted to enjoy the summer, so I took down my Patreon. I'll bring it back up. I mean, of course, I always appreciate you guys who want to tip in. Of course, I'll bring that back. And especially as I plan to be more consistent again, but I want to show that consistency before I say, hey, support what I'm doing. I think that's fair, right? I think that's fair. CRMD, Coremetics. This is a stock that's really ran away from us. I mean, I used to talk heavy Coremetics when nobody really cared about this play, and all of a sudden, you move into something else, and these stocks start running so aggressively. And we used to talk Coremetics when this sucker was below $1. Yeah, we talked Coremetics, at the beginning of the year. Here's Coremetics down here, the sub 50 cent level. Now it's practically ran away from us, and that's why. Again, you just have to keep track of the ones that you think have a high probability to succeed. And again, playing this daily setup, the daily chart never lies, man. Look at this. Wow. I got to give it to him, man. That's a monster. I got to give it. That's a monster kill, Monster kill. I got to give it to him. That's a huge, huge move. That's a huge move. I'm going to be doing this Monday, Wednesdays, and Friday. That's what I'm aiming for. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. That's what I'm aiming for. And they're going to be 1-hour shows. And I'm going a little extra today just to kind of get myself warmed up. But that's what I'm aiming for. I appreciate you, Connor. And if we have any questions in particular about certain plays, and we'll get your ID on them. I know you follow the Amazon heavy, Baba, and many of those other plays that guys really, really love. All right. A few more tickers and we'll dismiss. I appreciate you guys staying in and checking out my show. You guys who've been watching my show for on and off or consistently over many years, I appreciate you for watching. When you talk about something so niche, such as just trading. Um, you wonder if what you're doing is actually making a difference, if people actually care. So just to see some of you guys in here who've been watching the show since the beginning, it just confirms to me that there are people who actually really care about what I'm doing. And I really appreciate that. I really do. All right. MLHC. I don't know anything about this, man. What is this? A triple double 0014. Took a huge. Obviously, you had somebody really unload today. All right. Or a few people really unload today because the volume wasn't that heavy. But down 26% today, MLHC. MLHC. Okay. NXTD. Up 18%. Looks like a company reminds dividends of a dividend update on that stock. It's interesting to see such a small company pay a dividend. I mean, I don't know if that's really smart. I mean, the company has a $30 million market cap. I'd rather you save that money, you know what I mean, and reinvest it into, buying more assets or just the business in general. I don't think that's a smart idea to see, a $30 million company paying out dividends. I think that's just, a stupid move. That's just me. What else? What happened to NAK? Is NAK still out there? NAK still out there? I could see a move in NAK happening soon. If you remember, this is the gold company that we thought that just because the Trump administration is the Trump administration that they were going to get their plans, in motion out there in Alaska. They were trying to build something, but their project is in this protected area where it's very sensitive to wildlife and whatnot. And there just hasn't been any movement on it. So I don't know what's going on with NAK and where things could be moving forward. Rich Million says MLHC is a pump. Gotcha. Man, I wish that guy who ran pump and dumps, I tried to buy the URL from him, but now he's like, I don't know what the website, he goes to some other website now. But if you trade OTCs, you may remember a stock called pumpanddumps.com. And this guy was basically exposing, he had gotten burned by a pump and dump like 15 years ago. And he had spent the last like 15 years up until I think it was like January of last year running pumpanddumps.com, where he basically was just exposing every single pump and dump. And when I got into the promoting business, he exposed one of my pumps. It was pretty funny. But he was an older gentleman. And I think he ended up selling the website. I don't know what it is now. But that was a great website. All right. What's your evidence behind it being a pump? Rich Million, that's what Gucci is asking. And some of these, I mean, if it's coming out of a mailer, right? I mean, if you sign up if you just go to Google, type in penny stock newsletter, obviously please do it with a backup email account, not your personal email account, because these websites will spam the shit out of you. And then, you get tickers in your email, and many of them are being promoted. If you just kind of do some digging, you'll see, that this person who owns this mailing list has been compensated for, promotion and whatnot, other activities. Yeah. Yes, indeed. Candace Thomas, election trade, BRZU. I've been reading about what's going on in Brazil, and now the Trump, right thing is kind of spread across the world. And this president or aspiring president in Brazil, he's kind of like a wannabe Trump kind of type dude. So BRZU, he's a far right kind of type leader, and I don't know if that's what Brazil needs right now. I mean, because what I've read about this guy, he's not Trump. I don't want to compare. Let me not compare him to Trump. He's a wannabe in the fact that he uses some of Trump's rhetoric. He has this Brazil first. I mean, literally copied what Trump says. But then he's also got this kind of weird admiration for the military in terms of being a dictator. I mean, he's like, yeah, the former Brazil military junta that they used to have back in the early 80s and whatnot. That was right. That was right for the government, It's weird. It's weird. I mean, for those of you guys who know history. And that government wasn't pro-business. The military controlled all aspects of business in the country during that time. So if he comes out of that and if that's what he aspires to do, I don't think that's good for business. I don't think that's good for business. So we'll see what happens with that Brazil election. Appreciate you, Rich Million. Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming. Yeah. You said China thinks so? Yeah. I mean, the thing about China is they're willing to work with anybody. They don't care if you're a dictator. They don't care if you're killing your own people. China's a communist country at the end of the day. They don't care. China is the last person that you're going to see care about human rights. I mean, this is a country that doesn't even let you text the word democracy, so why would you think that China would care whether or not the guy is a centrist or a left, a right-leaning maniac? All right. You said Charlie Munger. Yeah, well, Charlie Munger is like 93 years old, man. When you're 93 years old, I don't know. There's nothing you can tell me to make me feel like you're still senile. You're still, all the way there. Even Warren Buffett, he's a little slower. If you've been watching him lately, they're a little slower right now, man. Have you seen Warren Buffett on TV? He's not as snappy as he was in the early 2000s or in the mid 90s. You can tell he's I don't want to say losing his touch, but he's a little slower. What are our thoughts on Kanye? Well, he's off his medication, man. Kanye West is off his medication, and it's just so sad to see when somebody is not operating in their gift. The man is off his medication. The man is off his medication. And Donald Trump is being so nice. He was just sitting across from him just like this stupid ass nigga. And he's just being so nice, being so nice. All right. So let me, yeah, man. This guy's, losing his damn mind, man. He's losing his damn mind. He's surrounded by women who make $100 million in a year just taking selfies. And here you are with a struggling album. Your career is off track. I'd lose my mind too. Used to be one of the greatest. People would consider you one of the best rappers of all time. Now you got damn near lost your mind, man. All right, man. So let me wrap it up. I appreciate you guys all for tuning in. I hope you like it. Me coming back and doing this again. I'm sending a lot of emails this weekend, so hopefully have some of these small cap and OTC guys come on the show like old times. I'm glad I didn't have any troll callers because I definitely had that heat waiting for you, but we didn't have it this time, so that's a good look. So I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. God damn, where did I... Let me see. Appreciate you, Corey Kwan. God damn, why did I not have the... appreciate you, Gucci, Corey Kwan. I started the wrong damn track. I'm going to spin it, though. DeMontre Harley, appreciate you. Shirley Lewis, thank you. Money Stay Woke, thank you so much, bro. I appreciate you. Jim Gray, thank you. I appreciate you. Shaquille Emmanuel, shout out. Shout out to the brother who hit me up from Africa, man. You know, he had told me don't come back with Ebola. Let me tell you that Ebola titty is some good titty. Okay? Y'all don't know nothing about that Ebola titty, man. Shit. Shout out to Dirty Mix, appreciate you. Fuck QQ, appreciate you. Felix Sapini, thank you. Thank you, I appreciate you, bro. Yes, indeed. Jeff Thayer. Yes, indeed. SC Trucker, thank you. Yes, indeed. Monday, I will see you guys. Gregory Jones, appreciate you. Until next time, everyone, take care and enjoy your weekend.